The worst part of grief is that your body starts hurting and nobody explains you why. Nobody explains to you why this is going on. Why is your body hurting? Why is your chest hurting? Why the exhaustion? And that one's huge. Why the exhaustion? Nobody explains you why you have stomach issues, why you have panic, why you have brain fog. And what you start wondering is that, are you doing something wrong? But grief isn't just emotional. Grief is an emotional experience that takes place in your heart. And that's the part we work on at the grief school. But in order for me to work on the emotions in your heart, guide you through that part, you have to understand what is going on with your entire body. You have to understand that grief is physical. Your nervous system is trying to survive heartbreak, while the world is trying to get you back to normal as quick as possible. That's why staying busy never works long enough. You think that staying busy helps. Grievers tell me all the time, but as long as I stay busy, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. The body always knows. It knows what's going on. More than that, the grief knows. The grief knows what it's doing, and it knows where to send the pain and the signals. It is sending you signal. The grief knows what it's doing. Some of you think you're dying. Some of you think you're not going to make this out alive. You're not going to make it out of this alive. And I need you to hear me clearly today. You are not crazy. You are not crazy. You think that you are going crazy. Your body is grieving. Your body is grieving. And it's grieving every part of this pain. Your body is grieving, and it is going to continue to grieve until it gets every drop of this poison out of its system. Not your person, the pain. Nobody told us that this was so physical. Nobody told us that grief would make our chest hurt, our stomach shut down, our hands shake, that we would forget words. Nobody told us that people would walk up to us and we wouldn't even know what the hell their name was. Who is this? I'm supposed to know them. People don't tell us that because they don't talk about grief. Why? Because for generations, they have tried to get us back to moving on past the grief. Hear me out, and hear me out clearly when I say this to you. There was a time back in the day where they allowed us to grieve. There are other cultures that allow grieving. There are other countries that give you time to grieve. Not here. Here we give you 3 days bereavement. We call it bereavement, but it is not bereavement. It's funeral time. They ought to call it what it is. We give you 3 times to go bury your person, 3 days to go bury your person, and that's it. And that's it. So today I want to teach you what grief actually is and what it does to your body. Because when you understand the body, you stop being terrified of yourself. You stop being terrified of your own grief. If we've never met, my name is Sharon, and I'm the grief specialist and the founder of the Grief School, where healing begins. The Grief School is a private university where healing begins. And one of the biggest grief lies you've ever been told is just give it time. Girl, you just give it time. Meanwhile, your nervous system is in complete chaos. Your body is carrying pain and it doesn't understand why. And everybody keeps telling you, stay busy, stay busy. Here's the other thing about the stay busy. You don't even have to tell me because I know, because I'm a griever too. You're telling yourself to stay busy because you noticed that when you went to work the other day, you didn't think of him. And you're like, oh my gosh, the whole time I was busy, I didn't even think of this grief thing. It doesn't work. Busy people have chest pain. Busy people have panic attacks. Busy people pretend that they're okay while their body is screaming. Busy people still have grief. The only difference is it's spread out or pushed to the back of the line. And just because it's pushed to the back of the line doesn't mean it's not happening. And that's what we're talking about today. That's exactly what we're talking about today. All right, listen. If this lecture is hitting you, Friday is a masterclass called The Worst Parts of Grief, where we're going deep into the physical pain. I want to go deep into the anxiety. I want to go deep into why you're pretending, why you're confused, why the grief is actually driving you crazy, what the grief actually does to your mind and body. And at the end of this class today, I'm going to give you the discount code. and you're going to get $20 off, but you got to stay till the end to get the discount code, right? Modern civilization remains committed to branding every emotional collapse you have. They want to put a name on it. They want to call it something. But let me tell you what I call it. I call it grief. And guess what else about that grief? You need to grieve that shit all the way out of your body. Grief is a full body experience. And the worst part of grief is not the crying. It's not the exhaustion, even though sometimes the worst part can be the exhaustion that shows up every day. And sometimes it can be the pressure in your chest. And sometimes it can be your brain fog. Sometimes it can be the nausea. But mostly, it's all of the things that you never knew about. And all of those things I just explained to you, the nausea, the brain fog, the not knowing the names, keeping busy, all of that is coming from the nervous system. Not understanding that this is coming from your nervous system is part of the worst part. It's that your body goes into survival mode. Your body goes into survival mode and they scatter, they being your people. And the brain starts scanning for danger constantly. Your body starts asking, what just happened? What just happened? Are we safe? Can this happen again? Who else is going to die? I better not leave the house. What if I leave the house and something else happens? How do I survive this? How do I even do this? The body responds physically. What physical symptoms surprised me the most after loss are the way that my body felt, and nobody could explain it. Friends, when my dad was dying, I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted as play-by-play on what was happening to him. But that's not what hospice was doing. They didn't say to me, look at the urine bag. He has stopped outputting urine. They didn't say that to me. They didn't say things are starting to change. Look at the color of the urine. The urine is changing. The urine is changing color. They were seeing the signs. For the life of me, I do not understand why they don't share the signs with us. His breathing has changed. He is not talking any longer. He is fully sleeping all the time. Like those symptoms, I wanted to know what they were, right? I wanted to know every ounce of it. I wanted them to tell me to the minute when he was going to leave me. They didn't do that. And for the most part, they don't. And I have some theories on that, but that's not where I'm going here. When I became the griever, I wanted to know the same thing. Why is this hurting? Why is my head hurting? How come my eyes are blurry? How come is it that I can't see what's going on? Why am I having all these physical symptoms? I didn't know grief was physical. So I wanted to know everything. So I went on a mission to find out everything I could. And I found out a ton. And here's the deal, friends. I want to ask you, what physical symptoms surprised you after the grief? What physical symptoms are you not aware of that were going to be there? People think grief leaves their mind. People think grief lives in the mind. And when I think about it, then I have a pain and then I grieve. Okay, part of that's true. It lives in your mind. You do think about it. You do have a pain. But it lives in your body too. It lives in your shoulders. And you start carrying it like this. It's like tight, but you don't realize it's tight. I'm over exaggerating it here, but your shoulders are lifted up and they're tight. Your stomach is like, oh, I can't put that in it. Your stomach starts to hurt. Your chest is carrying the pain. So if your stomach is carrying it and your chest is carrying it, you're almost like this. I'm exaggerating it, but it is tight in there. Your chest carries it. Your sleep carries it. Your eating carries it. Your attitude carries it. Your energy carries it. And when you are carrying this in your entire body, it's exhausting. It's exhausting because your body never goes to rest. Some of you are trying to think a way out of this. You're in your brain trying to figure out, how the heck do I get out of this? Out. This way. You're literally trying to figure a way out. That's not going to happen because that's not how it goes. The way out is 100% through your heart. The only way out of grief is to go through your heart, right? So your heart is where the emotions are. Your heart is where the grief is. And the only way out is right here. But you're trying to get out here. And that's not the way out. And that's why all of this avoiding you're doing and all of this changing you're doing is not working. That's why your body is holding this pain, because your nervous system is controlling everything that's going on. Here's the deal, friends. The pain has nowhere to go. The pain has nowhere to go. And you trying to avoid this pain is never going to work. It will never work for you. I promise you that. If I have learned anything in this grieving thing, most of what you guys are doing is wrong. Most of what you are doing in grief is wrong. And I met a lady yesterday. Today is May 12th, 2026. 2026. I met a lady yesterday that asked me if she was doing the stages of grief wrong. She asked me if she was doing the stages of grief wrong. Today, I want you to know that the stages of grief came about in 1969. They were misinformation. It is technology that has never applied to grief, and it's wrong. How the hell am I standing up here and we are still talking about the stages of grief? There are no stages of grief. Grief is an emotional experience that takes place in your heart. Grief is an intellectual experience that takes place in your brain. Your brain and your heart are in a fight with each other. They are trying to figure out what the hell to do with this grief. They are trying to figure out how to move this grief. If you are looking for a stage, you are looking in the wrong place. And that's why I created the master classes on Fridays, because some of you are terrified by what grief is doing to your body, and nobody has explained it to you correctly. I'm telling you that we break this down for you so you understand. This is you right now. This is why you can't calm down. This is why you're exhausted. This is why your body feels different. Grief is an emotional experience that takes place in your heart. It is not a stage that takes place somewhere outside of you. Grief is physical. Grief is emotional. Grief is intellectual. And when you finally understand that, you stop fighting yourself. You stop fighting yourself. Your nervous system is running the show. Your nervous system is running the show, not you. This nervous system is running the show. This nervous system controls everything. It's controlling everything right now. It controls the safety after the loss. It controls, it tells you whether you feel safe or not. That's why people jump when the phone rings after a grieving experience. What was that? Loud noises hit harder. That's why people panic in their heart. That's why they start freaking out when someone doesn't text them back. That's why their body feels on edge all the time. It's this thing. Your nervous system has learned something terrible has happened, and it can happen again at any moment. Let's put the body on high alert. Beep, 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 beep. The nervous system, the part that's connected to the brain, starts to put the body on high alert. How has your body changed since the loss? How scared are you? How much fear are you having? And this is why grievers feel exhausted all of the time. Their body is working overtime. Even while they're sitting still, their heart rate is going fast. It's why you can't sleep. It's why you can't sleep, because your brain is not going to rest. Your nervous system is not going to rest. It is looking for danger. Not only that, I want to share something with you. I don't want to share something. I want to say something. It's also looking for your person. Your brain is looking for them. They don't know where they went. They don't believe the grief thing. Your heart knows it, because every time your heart thinks of it, you feel it. But the minute you get out of your heart, you go in your brain starts to look for them. It is also why you're exhausted. You're exhausted because your brain and nervous system are looking. You think you see something out of the corner of your eye. You think you see them. Your brain is searching and scanning for them, even while you're sleeping. Even when you're in there pretending that you're okay, your body never fully relaxes, because grief changed the way that your body experiences safety. It comes back. You're going to relax again. It does come back. When you complete the pain, when you go through the heart and we complete the pain, the nervous system calms down. It actually comes down way before you even complete. Some of you are in processing the pain of grief, and even these last few weeks of just being there, you've noticed a difference in your grief. Just the fact that you can talk about it, just the fact that you know where to lay it makes a difference. That's the first step. That's the first shift that you see. The next shift happens in Forever Change. In Forever Change, I have it down to a science. It's week 4. You guys, it is week 4. Something happens in week 4. You come into the class and you tell a joke. You come into the class and you're smiling. We haven't even done the work yet. We haven't even done the work on your much needed heart. But knowing that you're in the right place by week 4, your nervous system starts to relax. You don't see it. I see it. And I see it every time. And it's something that Erica and I used to notice all the time. How many of you have become more anxious after the loss? And that's not because you're weak. And that's not because you're broken. It's because your nervous system is trying to figure out what the hell to do with this pain. Let's talk about the chest pain that nobody warned you about. Some of you thought you were having a heart attack. Listen to me. Listen, Linda. Listen. If you think you are having a heart attack, call 911 or go to the emergency room. I don't care if you go 9 times. I don't care if you go 20 times. I went to the emergency room 17 times with chest pains last year. I had a heart attack in 2024. I had really bad angina. I went to the hospital 17 times. So they finally put in a heart monitor. They're like, girl, we're tired of seeing you. Put this monitor in. It'll tell you if something's wrong. I did it too. Pressure, heaviness, tightness, the grip. Sometimes grief literally hurts in your chest because the body is releasing stress hormones constantly. The body tightens. Your breathing changes. Your sleep changes. Your eating changes. Everything changes. And then people tell grievers, you need to stay strong, girl. Girl, you need to stay strong. And so what do? We start being strong. We start acting strong as we can. What a spectacularly terrible system humans have created. The body is going through this thing. We're trying to figure it all out. And then they're on the outside going, no, that's not working for me. You need to get it straight. No wonder we want to jump out of our skin. No wonder we don't know what's going on. No wonder we're freaking confused. Okay. And this is why all of this matters. Because there's no amount of self-care that you can do that's going to fix this. There's no amount of self-care that you can do. Girl, you can take as many bubble baths as you want. You can eat all the chocolate cake that you want. You can do all that Instagram nonsense. But real care starts with real grief care. Real care starts with real grief care. You need grief time. You have to take grief time. First of all, you got to come to the grief school. You got to come to PPG, Processing Pain of Grief, or Forever Changed. You need to take grief time. A lot of times grievers come in, they come into the class and they're crying. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And when we get down into it, okay, hear me out. I want to hear you say this. A lot of grievers cry immediately when they come into Forever Change because it's their comfortable place. It's the place where they've always been allowed to grieve in that spot. So a lot of grievers, I open the screen and they're crying already, and that's okay. That is absolutely normal. And it lets me know that you feel safe with me. And that's great. But some grievers come in and they are bawling. And I'm like, girl, what happened to you? It's because they haven't done any grief time in weeks. Grief time is for you. It is not a bubble bath. It's not self-care. It's rest. It's drinking water. It's sleeping. Rest and sleeping are 2 different things. Rest is just laying on the couch. You might be watching a show. You might not. You might be scrolling on TV, not to stay away from pain, right? You need to move. Move that body. You need to move. This one is huge. You need to talk. You need to talk to anybody who will listen and allow you to talk. Okay, hear me out. The listener, when I say anybody who will listen, the listener has no mouth. They are not trying to fix this for you. They are heart with ears, just willing to listen to your story. You need to process. Go to your grief corner and process. All of this I teach in the grief school. You need to cry. We teach all of this because we talk about it. We break it down. You need support. You need support. You need support from other grievers who are going through the same thing. And most of all, you need safety. You need to know that you have a safe place to do this grief thing. The body needs help. The body needs help. It needs to understand. It needs to understand because grief trapped in the body becomes suffering. Most of the grievers that I meet today are absolutely suffering in their grief. And you have an option. There is grief pain and there is grief suffering. And there is no reason that you should be suffering in your grief. None. None whatsoever. Not in 2026. Not in 2026. And when I tell you, I hear people say all the time, I see them all the time. They consider themselves grief specialists and they're telling you that you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. I don't agree. I am living proof that you can move beyond this grief. In 2006, I lost Austin, my nephew. In 2013, I lost my dad and my very good friend. In 2015, I lost Donovan, Austin's brother. He was 21 years old. And in 2017, I lost my very best friend, Sharon, the very best friend I've ever had in this world. Inside the grief school, we teach a couple of different classes. We teach processing the pain of grief. And that's the work we do every week. And we teach you not to pretend. I teach you not to think positive. I teach you all of these things, how to gather these things, what grief is, what your body is requiring of you, what does it need? We work on understanding what grief is so we can work on your body, your mind, your nervous system, so you can stop feeling trapped inside your own pain. And for those of you who are ready to do the deep work, we have Forever Changed. Once you've kind of mastered this, you're going to know when it's time to go to Forever Changed. Forever Changed is an 8-week educational program that I teach on grief. It is where we get into the loss. It is where we get into your person. Real grief work. Let me tell you something, because you guys are all thinking this, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I do and stay busy. And this one makes people mad. It makes people mad because staying busy sounds productive. And the thought of it is productive. But your busy is a form of avoiding, and it adds to your exhaustion. Excuse me. But you're going to keep doing it whether I tell you to do it or not. You're going to keep moving, and you're going to keep hurting. You're going to keep performing everywhere you go and pretending, but you're going to be drowning in your grief. And you're going to keep telling me that you're fine. And I know your body's keeping score. Eventually, your nervous system is going to crash. Eventually, your nervous system is going to crash. And you're going to think that the worst thing possible is happening. You're probably going to think that you're going to die from this grief, that you're never going to survive this grief. And that, my friends, is a lot of times where people come looking for me. They have to get to the crash before they start looking to me. What are you using to avoid your grief right now? What are you using to stay away from the things that you need and avoiding your grief? All right. Overworking, drinking, scrolling, cleaning, staying busy, all of those things are not going to remove the grief because your body still knows. Your body still knows. The nervous system still knows. And guess who else knows? The grief. The grief knows. Your grief knows. Ooh, this isn't helping me. Your body needs permission to grieve, and it is your job to give it the permission. When Austin died, doing this work changed my life. I thought I needed to stay strong. I didn't thought I needed to stay strong. I was staying strong. I needed to hold everybody together, including myself. I thought it was me. I thought it was my job. And I started collapsing under the weight of the grief. I was dying on the vine, and there was nobody coming to save me because your body cannot continue to carry unspoken grief forever. It will leak out as a panic attack, as exhaustion, as anger, as numbness, as sickness, as a divorce, as a tumultuous relationship with your daughter. It will leak out. Your body is not portraying you. Your body is responding to the heartbreak. This is why talking matters. This is why grief time matters. This is why processing matters. Your body needs somewhere safe to release the pain. All right, friends, in closing, I'm going to close out and I just want to say this. If nobody has told you this yet, your physical grief symptoms don't mean you are weak. No, they don't. They mean that you love deeply. They mean that your body is trying to survive something painful. The surviving is not the same thing as healing. Surviving is not healing. Healing requires processing. Healing requires support. Healing requires learning. And that's exactly what we're going to start doing this Friday, the worst part of grief. It's a 1-hour teaching session where I teach just like I did right now. We've been on for 30 minutes. So it's just like this. And then I'm going to turn off my lecture and I'm going to open the room up and we're going to share our grief. You're going to tell me the worst parts that you're having and we're going to work through that. We actually have an assignment that we're going to do. We're going to talk about physical pain, anxiety, pretending, and mental exhaustion. Your grief started after the funeral. Your grief started, the major part of the grief, the worst parts of the grief started after you got the call, after you got the knock on the door, after you got the diagnosis, after the funeral. That's when the worst parts of grief start, because that's when it really hits your body, and that's when you don't know what to do. All right, use the discount code BEGIN, BEGIN, to save $20 on the Masterclass. Click the link, griefdiscovery.com, go in there, sign up for the Masterclass for Friday, and save $20. If you are in processing the pain of grief, if you are in forever change, please do not sign up. Please do not sign up because I will have to give you your money back, and I don't want to do that because it takes up time in my life. So if you're in the class, hey, Deborah, if you are in the class, you're going to get it as part of your class. So please don't sign up. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow right here, same bat channel. Thank you, friends.